You are aware of the challenges, the trends, yet you are a bit frustrated because you're not getting clients. So you're like, am I wasting my time? What am I doing here? Because you don't get clients, or like you don't even get like meaningful comments saying like, oh my goodness, this has changed my perspective on X problem forever. Maybe you get like a couple of like fire emojis, or someone saying like, oh my gosh, I love your hair. Or in my case, sometimes I get the whole, your baby is so cute. And I was talking about something completely different. I completely understand. The thing is that you are blaming poor Instagram when what you really want is to get more clients. And then you're like, oh, it's Instagram's fault. It's social media's fault. The thing is that sales require trust, and trust is a little bit hard to build like really meaningfully when we are using only Instagram or like a short form social media platform. So don't worry, we're talking about that today. Hello, my love. Welcome to Brand Confidence for Creatives. Are you feeling stuck in a cycle of overthinking, trying to build your brand? I'm Eugenia, but you can call me E. I'm a marketing and brand coach, and I spent years stuck in the cycle of researching, hesitating, and hiding until I got clear on my voice and my message. In this podcast, I'll guide you through the strategies you need to get clear on what you want to say, build a personal brand, and create consistent magnetic marketing. If you ever thought, I know I have something to say, I just don't know how to say it, you are in the right place. So grab your coffee and let's dive in. Quick pause before we get started with the episode. This month, we are rallying around Venezuela. On June 24th, two massive earthquakes hit Venezuela. It was back to back, and they've been the strongest earthquakes the country has seen in over 100 years. And honestly, unless you're Venezuelan, it's hard to fully get the scale of it. This is thousands of people have died, thousands of people are injured, tens of thousands still missing. People don't have a home, buildings have been damaged or destroyed. So many people need medical help, shelter, water. They just need to make it through the week. And at first, help came rushing in. But of course, headlines have already moved on. This is how news cycle work. But families and people on the ground, they are still going through it. Literally 2 weeks after the fact, families are still digging through rubble with their hands. Sometimes there's not even machinery. Hospitals are still overwhelmed. People are still without food, without clean water, without anywhere to sleep. That is still happening. That's why I want to take this month to really rally around Venezuela. And if it's in your heart to help, I want to give you the best path to do it. And this organization is personal to me because I worked with them years ago, and I can attest to their leadership and their commitment. My friend Liliana, she runs JQ Foundation. This is a family-owned 501c3 organization, and usually they do sustainability work. But the second this happened, they basically dropped everything in their personal life, and they've been working on relief, medical aid, food, water, filters, shelter, and I've watched this team operate for years. I know exactly where this money goes. They are super transparent. So here's my ask. You can give $5, 50, 500, whatever you can do, and it does make a difference. It does reach the people in need. The link to donate is in the show notes, but you can also go straight to jqfoundation.org. That's jqfoundation.org and hit donate in the Venezuela Relief Fund. And if you cannot give right now, that's completely understandable. Just share this episode. Share the link with someone, because maybe someone in your circle can help. Venezuela needs us to keep praying, to keep paying attention, and let's this not be just a 1 week or 2 week story. I got my first client through Instagram. Like, Instagram will always have a special place in my heart. I started my business originally, like my first client, like my first business world initiative, as a virtual assistant. And I didn't consider that a business because I was like, oh, this is just me working remotely. that was like 2020. So I didn't have a lot of like online business awareness. Anyways, at that time, as a virtual assistant, I got my first clients through a company. They they match me to a client, right? Through their system. That's why I didn't think I had a business. But at that point, after months of having my virtual assistant clients, I learned about businesses because also my clients were online businesses. So I was like, oh, I love this. Like, I didn't know I could do this. So I wanted to like have officially my business, I guess. And I wanted to focus on something that I had tons of experience with. And I felt like I had a very particular perspective and just voice because I had experience doing it myself, technical experience, and also experience with marketing because of just like my career. So I started a podcast management company. So I had my website done. I did it myself. I was pretty proud, if I may say so. I started posting on Instagram, and it was the times of dances and like lip sync. Some like good memories. I love those times, like 2021. Instagram was so fun. Anyway, I started posting during the summer of 2021, and I got a couple coaching clients, but not really like the retainer podcast management client that I wanted until December. And I was so excited. And this client actually brought me my second client like a month later, which is crazy. Like, I spent months posting without a client, and then suddenly within like a month, I got 2 clients. Anyway, it was all through Instagram. And that means that you will not hear me bashing Instagram because I think it's still so helpful. But Instagram does have a cap, and that's a reality that we cannot ignore. Because even for me, growing beyond getting clients sporadically, or even having random people reach out to me like, oh, I have this idea for a podcast. How much will you do it for? Like, kind of like price shopping, a little bit rude, like not really respecting my brain or my expertise. Just more like, okay, I want to do it. How much for it? That stopped when I started posting long form content. And if you're frustrated with your efforts on Instagram, if you're posting, you're not getting clients, not like you used to at least, definitely not like you want to moving forward. That frustration is so common. It happens. You're not alone. But that doesn't mean that Instagram doesn't work or that Instagram hates you or that you need to find like a new hack. You're just not using Instagram as the right sales mechanism for the stage you're in. And here's the thing you need to realize. Sales require trust. And I think it's like common knowledge, right? Like, people find you, they trust you, they buy from you. Like, that's like a pretty, I would say, like basic funnel, a pretty basic journey. But sometimes, somehow, we're still looking at Instagram and we know that sales require trust, but we expect that Instagram will bypass all the trust building process, or that we can bypass the trust building process through a single post, or that we can accelerate that process with a platform that's built to create like just more like fun relationships, or maybe go deeper in relationships, but it's not really a platform for a lot of depth. And that's wonderful. We've gotten creative, and now we have channels, and we have longer form videos, and we have DMs. And of course, I'm not saying you cannot go deep on Instagram. I am just saying the platform was not designed for it. So if we see social media as a relationship building tool, and we know that from those relationships we are going to get sales, we then need to start looking at how we are using our efforts both on social media and through our content, because social media is free to post. And yes, it is hard to get massive reach like you used to years ago just by posting and that's it, but still free. And that's unique about social media. And that's unique about a lot of like social media platforms. And I think that's important to highlight, because you are not able to just go put up a billboard in the middle of the highway for free. You need to pay just to be present. Like, forget about the results, just to be present. Same with running an ad on Hulu. You can just like go and upload your ad and that will be shown to people. No, you need to pay just to be present. So social media offers a free opportunity, and we take that free aspect for granted. And then we ask, oh, why am I not getting clients? When the better question is, how does this get me closer to the sale? And that's a better question. That's more interesting of a question. That's a more fruitful question. And that is the question that's going to get you your next client and the one after that. And the way you use social media to get clients is to first get social. You reach people, you build connection, you build trust with them, and then show them a path to sell. The thing is that social media has a ceiling. That's natural. There's a ceiling on what you're able to do on the platform for free because of the nature of the platform. That's not to say that the platform doesn't work. It just means that the platform is designed in a way that does not support the level of trust that we need to build. So then, because we asked a better question, we got a better answer. So if the problem isn't that social media is against you or that it doesn't work anymore or whatever people are saying these days, the problem is that there's a ceiling to how effective social media is. So then how can I raise that ceiling? How can I build trust more effectively? How can I be more powerful with the way I build trust so that I can get closer to the sale? Which takes me to my next point, and is that the answer to that question, which ultimately is the reason you are not getting clients off social media, is that you need a long-form platform that is going to build trust for you with your clients in the long term. A long-form platform is an asset. It is this thing that gains value over time. It compounds. Think of it as an investment account. You put your money in you can have an investment account or a checking account. You put money in a checking account and that's fine. That's your money. Money in, money out, easy math. Your investment account grows. It compounds. You have in 5 years, if you put $1,000 in an investment account and a checking account, in 5 years, you're going to have, ignoring the fees you're going to get charged, you are going to have the same $1,000 in your checking account, but your investment account will have grown. That is an asset that compounds. When it comes to content, people are still listening to my first podcast I ever posted, and I did that almost 3 years ago. So the thing or the episode you post today, let's say with a podcast, is going to grow with you. And it also is going to be trust that is impossible or it's going to be very time consuming to replicate on social media. And we already established that sales require trust. So why? Why is this long form platform doing this for you? Why is this creating this asset that compounds? You are in someone's ear for a long time, or they're like spending time reading you, but like focus time. They're not just scrolling past you when they're bored. They're spending time. And just like a relationship is not the same meeting someone after church for 3 minutes and saying, hey, how are the kids? Awesome. Great to see you. Bye. Then taking that person and going out for coffee and then spending intentional time with them, listening to them, right? And hearing their stories. With a long form platform, your people are going to get a sneak peek into your brain, which is so important, into your personality, which is so important. People say, oh, I don't want people to buy from my personality. Of course, they need to buy for your personality. Of course, your brain matters too, but your personality is important because when we work in a trust-based industry, when our business is built on our expertise, it's not only a product, right? Our expertise, we are attached to the product. Then clients, they're not just trying to figure out if you know your industry. Like my clients are not trying to figure out if I know marketing or personal brand or podcast strategy. Like, yes, they want to know that. That's like the first filter, but they also want to hear me thinking because they want to know that my brain is what they need for their problems. You need time for that, just like any relationship. And we build relationships because that's how we get to the sale. So how you do this? You need to choose a long form platform. I love podcasting. I think it is the best. It is the easiest, to be honest. And a podcast can give you everything else whenever you're ready. Like you can add video whenever you're ready. You can turn that into a blog post whenever you're ready. You can feed a newsletter whenever you're ready. Like to me, podcast is just like the obvious choice, but you need to put time in the relationship, regardless of what you choose. You need to create the space. You need to build the coffee shop, basically, where that trust is built. You need to get out of hallway talk and move into one-on-one time. This is the preview that your client is getting of how does it look like spending time with you in a more intense capacity? Even if it's a course, like, man, this is amazing. I love her brain. Let me see how her brain works applied to this specific problem with this specific promise that my offers get. So to recap, if you're posting and you're not getting clients, it's because you're asking of Instagram something that Instagram was not designed to give you, and that it takes a lot of time and especially money and investment of your energy to build, which is deep trust. Instead, if you want to get clients, you need an asset that compounds in the long term. You need a long form platform. You need a podcast, preferably, but it could be a podcast, a YouTube channel, it could be a blog. You need a space where people will find you and spend time with you so that they can trust you, they can understand you, your ideas, your personality. That asset is what's going to get them closer to the sale. That asset is going to do the pre-selling for you because they already know they want your brain in their business. Then the sales call is just confirmation. Sales page is just confirmation. That is what we want to do with this asset. So focus on that if you feel like your Instagram has reached the capacity or it's not working for you the way it used to. Start thinking about this. You know, you can always reach me on Instagram. My Instagram is @eugenia.wu. I always link it in the show notes, but I want to hear from you. If you have any questions, my DMs are open. Happy to guide you through this. And remember, we're rallying this month around Venezuela. That's jqfoundation.org to donate. And thank you so much for your time. Thank you for your attention and your intention to your business. I believe in you. I trust in you. And as always, I'm rooting for you. See you back here soon. Un beso. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you loved it, don't keep it to yourself. Send it to a friend who's also trying to grow their brand without losing themselves in the process. And if you want to make my day, drop a quick review on Apple Podcasts. Seriously, it means the world to me. And I know that this show is helping you show up with confidence and clarity. See you back here soon for the next episode. Un beso.